everybody. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at the music in your head that you were dancing to. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Café con Leche. Thanks for listening.
I always have
You're
music
always
in
listening
my head.
to a song in your head.
And I was just listening to, in my head,
Yes.
I don't want no scrub.
Oh, no scrubs. Yes,
Scrub
no
is the guy that
scrubs.
can get
Unless
no
you
love
are
from
in
me.
a scrub and you work at
Yes.
a hospital and you have like neurosurgeon
Yes.
after your name, then I'll take that scrub.
No, as long as you have MD after
No, it's
your
okay.
name.
Like we need to aspire high. I want a neurosurgeon.
MD is pretty good.
Yeah, those are good too. Some of them.
And then I do want a scrub.
Yes, and then I want to wear your scrubs.
Oh my God. I feel like there's a lot of breakups going on.
Oh man, is this
It's like,
blame it on the retrograde?
is it breakup season? Do you think people break up in the summer? Just
Yeah.
like, what is it like
Yes.
around Christmas time or around like right after the
It's
holidays
like
or right after Valentine's Day? Everybody's like,
yes, you break up like before the summer because then like all the fresh meat's out,
oh man.
right? So
Because you want some summer loving,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
Summer fling.
Yeah, you want those. Yeah, because
Mm.
everybody's getting in shape. You're going to
Yeah,
the beach. You're
I
getting all
guess.
tan. You're like the hot bods are out, and you want to be free and wild on the loose.
I guess that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad.
Don't be sad. Don't be sad. Be happy. Turn your
There's-
frown upside down.
There's no breakup over here. We're just talking. We're not going through anything.
No, we're not.
But who do you think gets over breakups quicker, men or women?
Well, I think there's a perceived notion that men get over it quicker.
Mm-hmm.
When in reality, I think that because the women go through the process of actually processing
Yeah.
the breakup,
Yeah.
in the
You mean
end,
analyzing to death?
oh my God, why do we do that?
Because we are
I
masochists.
hate that. I hate that about me.
Yeah.
I hate that about women.
I hate that about me too.
Like after a while, okay, so and I have friends that would say stuff to me, but after a while, I'm like, okay, you gotta stop.
Yeah.
I think as I'm getting older too, I realize that I'm like, okay, I don't have time to like rehash this 20 bazillion times.
Yeah.
Like, why do
I
I
gotta
care
I gotta get
anymore?
over this like in the next,
Yeah, like 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like we don't have time to continually rehash why this, why that, while
Yeah.
he's at the bar doing whatever. But yeah, I think that
He's just
eventually-
drowning his
Yeah.
sorrow in alcohol.
yes, because he secretly does want to be with you, but he's not.
Because he's just not that into you.
Yeah, whatever.
Anyway, that's another episode.
But I think this is interesting, and it actually made me laugh that there's research that shows that approximately 85% of women will go through a breakup in their lifetime. So
Yeah.
what I found very amusing about this is, well, who
What
are they
about men?
breaking up with? Yeah. Doesn't that 85% apply to men too? I mean,
I couldn't find statistics.
so where's
As
the
to
other
men.
15? Like,
I-
what's going
I
on with
don't
those
know.
people?
I think a lot of men probably don't even see it as a breakup. Maybe men just date more casually than we do. So to them, it's like a breakup might be a really long-term relationship or a divorce.
Don't come to my house anymore. Okay.
Yeah. Like, what happened? You break up? Oh, whatever. She just like,
Whatever. She doesn't want to cook for me
whatever.
anymore. Okay, I'll go eat out.
Yeah, I know. I didn't find statistics as to like what men consider relationships and what percentage that is. I couldn't find that.
I don't know.
Which
I
is very
think
interesting.
men just are so much more easygoing with everything. And I think that we women need to adapt some of that.
A little bit. I agree with
Yeah.
you. I tend to hang on to things and people and feelings, not regret and not grudge, because I really do not hold grudges. But it takes me a long time to get over
Mm-hmm.
people. But once I do. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't even like, it does. I could see the person, I'm like, oh, I'm so happy for you. You remarry, you got kids,
Mhm.
like whatever. Like, I have like no feeling whatsoever. Because
I
I'm
think I've
completely
been-
over it.
Yeah, I've been able to do that with a few people in my life that I dated, but I can't. honestly, I don't think that
Yeah,
if
with
I saw
everybody,
this
there's
one person,
yeah.
that if I saw that, I would die. Like, I
If
would
you saw
still
what?
die. I
If you
would die.
saw
But are
him,
you dead? But did you
but
die?
did you die?
But did you die?
Like it would still hurt
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's like, you know how
Is
they
he
say
the
the
one
one
that
that
got
got
away?
away, but he really didn't get away.
He just doesn't want to.
He
He
just
just
like,
doesn't want to stay.
it's not, no, because it's ironic because I broke up with him and then it was
Mm.
always like the back and forth. But you know that you, like, there's always this one person that you really, really love, that it's like, that's the one.
Yeah, but you
And
know,
then like you're not with them anymore, but it's still, maybe it's a memory thing and
I don't know.
reminiscing and God knows what.
But I
don't
guess
know.
like when I hear that, I'm like, not really. Like to me, like I've really gotten over everybody. Like so, it doesn't really like to me. There's nobody that has gotten away yet. I mean, maybe it's gonna happen
Yeah.
one day.
I don't know that I
But-
would say that I'm not over it, but I don't know how to explain it. I just think that there's always this one
There's still something
love.
there.
There's
Yeah.
always this one love that's greater
Mm-hmm.
if you're fortunate enough to experience it. I don't
Yeah.
know. That's greater than any other love that you had.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's it. Maybe it's the memory of that great love.
That could be.
Who knows?
Could be.
I don't need therapy, okay?
Maybe you do.
Maybe it's me and it's not you.
But yeah, so according to this article that I found, it was just like fantastic article. This was based on a research that they did. This is an article back in like 2016 on Psychology Today, and it's titled, "Do Men Really Get Over Breakups Faster Than Women?" And according to the author of the study, he says that the reason why it technically takes women maybe longer to get over their relationship because we invest more into it, even from the get-go, from the choosing point. Like when we get out there and like try to meet somebody, it's kind of like we try to look for somebody that's like for long term. Like, is this the future husband? Is this my baby daddy? Is this somebody I can take home? Does this person have, like, we have, I think, a lot of like mental boxes that we gotta
lists.
that we gotta like check off.
There's too many things on the list.
Yeah.
I think that's, yeah. No,
Yeah.
That's
So
not
when the
good.
relationship ends, it's like all of this future life that you had kind of like planned for yourself, you know, that it's kind of like, it's like, oh my God, it's
I
like
don't
devastating.
know. Do you like meet?
Well, that's
Okay.
that's what
Like,
the
what's
study
the
says.
age range of this research? Did it
You know,
say?
they tested, let me see how many, 5,000 people from 96 different countries.
But no age range.
There's no age range, but like both men and women, basically. And they said that nobody comes out of a breakup like unscathed,
No.
which is obviously nobody is ever whole again after a breakup. But it just depends how you choose to move on from that relationship.
Right.
But going back to like the choosing point and like the reason why maybe it's just like more like devastating, world crumbling, world ending for women, I think I tend to agree with that. I think for men have a different way of going about it. Like for them is like, she's hot, let's do it.
Yeah.
You know?
That's funny that you said that because I was
like
talking
her.
to my friend's
I
husband.
feel something down there.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
That, so I posed this thing to him. I'm like, hey, so what about if you meet like this hot chick at Subway, you know, and she's a cashier at Subway and she has big boobs and a big ass, but she, she's pretty and she has big boobs and a big ass. Would you date her? He was like, yeah. And then, eventually if things click and we get along, I'll tell her to leave her job. I'm like, what the hell? Like, what?
Yeah.
I need to get like implants, I guess, and then go work at Subway. Not. But guys, they're like that. They're very visual and, it's all the sexual attraction. Whereas the women are looking more for stability, more like, not such shallow traits.
But who's the shallower? When you look at it, it's like, why if you see a hot guy in Subway, why do we instantly say like he's hot, but there's no freaking way? Like I'm not dating a guy that
I don't know, because
Subway.
I think because women and men react differently. I think the man is the hunter, right? And they're used to putting those beastly qualities into place, I guess, where they're like, wow, she's hot and I want to date her and I just want to date her because she's hot. And there's a huge difference.
Yeah, but it's like going back to shallow. Like who's more shallow? Is it us or is it them?
I don't know that we're shallow because we're looking for like a total package as opposed to just hotness and I want to have sex with you.
But why couldn't that hot guy,
that guy's
working at Subway?
Well,
maybe he owns the Subway. Maybe he's the manager of Subway. Maybe he has other dreams. But we tend to like, olvídate, ¿sabes? Like,
Subway, well, like, I mean, you got to talk to somebody if you want to know, are you the owner? You just say it straight out. Hi.
Seriously, that's your pickup
Sergey.
line? That's your pickup line?
Yeah.
Do you own the Subway?
Hi, Sergey.
Who's shallow? Raise your hand if you're shallow.
Where are you from? And then you'd be like, oh, so do you work here as a cashier?
No, I work here.
Own this place?
I make the Subway.
I work here.
I make the sandwich.
I make it the Subway.
Cheese, no cheese. And then you're like the end.
Okay, bye.
And then you don't go to that Subway anymore.
No, now that you said that, something really like creepy happened to me today.
Subway?
Not at Subway.
By the way, we love Subway. We have nothing against Subway.
Yes, I've eaten many a times at Subway. I'm all for it.
The chopped salads are really good too.
Yes, and the cookies. So I go to this place today for lunch with my daughter and my mom. And I'm sitting at the table and this lady comes to take our drink order. And I'm like, okay, she's a waitress, right? All of a sudden, it's like creepness comes like over the booth. And he's like, what would you like to eat? And I'm like, oh my God, like, where did you come from? But he looked like he was from some other country, right? That wasn't Latin America or, Cuban or anything like that. So I was like, oh, but he was very intense. Like he had that like look, like staring at you with the look, and he's like, what do you want to eat? And I was like, oh my God, I'll have this. And then,
please don't kill me.
Yeah. And he looked really, he looked like, I hate to say this, but I'm not even going to say the country, but like mob from some country that I will not say.
European.
Yeah, not European. So
Eastern European?
You're not going to get it out of me with trickery.
Okay.
Anyway, so then we were leaving and he gives my daughter a cookie. And then I was like, oh, that's nice. And then he's like, don't eat the cookie. And then
did you smack it out of
he's
her?
staring at my daughter. He's like, you're a very beautiful girl. And so she says, thank you. And then he makes some creeper remark. And then I'm like, oh my God, this is so weird. But it was like, have you ever seen that Adam Sandler movie where the butler just shows up out of nowhere?
Yeah.
Is it Happy Gilmore or something?
I think it
he's
is.
not there, and then he shows up, and
yeah.
that's how this guy was. And I was like, "Oh my God, what's going on here?" But I thought he was the owner. I don't know that he was because then I see this older man walking around. But I was like, "Oh my God!"
I know where you went to for lunch. I'm not going to say it, but I know where you went to, and I've been there before. It's like,
have you seen that creepy guy?
Well, is he like a good-looking guy though?
He's not
he
bad
has like
looking.
light
eyes.
Yes. Yeah. And I used to know his name, but I forget his name right now.
I'll tell you off air.
But he's a very good looking guy. No, he's been working there forever.
So he's not the owner.
I'm not sure, to be honest with you.
I think he might have right now.
I think he might have. He might either own half of it or something. I think he does have. He's been there for a long time.
I know.
Because I know somebody that knows it really well too. So
yeah. So that's like when we went to one of the places with Miami with me that we were trying to guess who the owner was.
Oh,
and then I straight out asked the guy, "Are you the owner?" He's like, "Yes." I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, but you're not trying to date him.
No.
Yeah.
Not trying. Anyway,
so moving on. So yeah, I agree with that women tend to think that way. So they have this whole future planned out, and then when that goes to shit, it's like it's so much harder to break up, to bounce back from, basically. So
yeah,
men don't think like women are thinking with their BBs. So it's like It's like, okay, it's over, whatever. Like, he found
Yeah.
somebody else to put it in, I guess,
Well,
I mean, not always,
I don't
obviously.
know.
Men
I
fall
think,
in love
yeah,
too,
I think
obviously.
that guys just handle things differently.
Yeah.
It's just, I think that they don't go about, working on their emotions like we do, try to heal and then go back out into the world. And they do it the other way around. They go and,
Well, what
have
they
sex
say,
and go to bars and hang out with their friends
Yeah.
and do stupid things. And then they cry and then they try.
What they say is that men engage in destructive behavior, whereas women engage in constructive behavior. So men hang out with their friends, they hook up, they're like dogs, and they hook up with like whoever they can get it in just to kind of like get you out of their system.
Mm-hmm.
They go to bars, they drink, I don't know, don't go to sleep or don't take care of themselves and their hygienes, and nothing like all of that goes to shit. Whereas women, we might start off being depressed and whatnot, but eventually we hash the relationship from beginning to end.
To death.
And we analyze it to death. And we ask everybody that we know, what do you think? And this is what happened. But then he said this and blah, blah,
so
blah.
Annoying.
And we,
I hate that. And I'm so guilty of that too. And I hate it.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting better.
But what they say, we believe what we tell ourselves, like, the stories that go on in our head. So when you have somebody to tell it to, and to like, even when you say it out loud, you hear it yourself, and sometimes you're like, what the fuck? Like, what
but most of
seeing?
the time I think we're in denial because you're trying to understand why, and there always isn't an answer to the why.
Exactly. Yeah. That's
the problem.
But when you get it out, and when you let it out there and you hear it out loud, and you have somebody listening to it and tell you, no, that's not what happened, or that's not how you should be feeling, and that's not how I see it from, like a neutral, unbiased perspective, you start seeing, like maybe like a different picture and like the true, picture of what happened. And I think little by little, you get over it because you let it out. As whenever, something traumatic happens to anybody that has nothing to do with a breakup, that's why they say go to therapy, talk it out, let it out. Otherwise, that festers, that you're going to carry that on to the next relationship and the next relationship and the next one. You got to like let it out, leave your system, and then you can move on. Yeah. And that's what men typically don't do.
I think that women, we rehash these things so much and we ask all these questions because we want some kind of closure.
Yeah.
We're looking for that, for the answers as to why, and try to understand.
Yeah.
I don't know that always happens.
No, but I think eventually you kind of say, I think women do come to the realization that, okay, I had some part in this too, and this is what I did wrong, and I shouldn't do that again. Or the next relationship, I'm not going to let this person do this ABC to me because I've learned, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So you do learn something, whether you analyze it, whether you find the reason why or whatever, or who's at fault or whatever. That's what research shows. But men don't do that. That's not even like on their menu. Like that's not even available. Like mentally, emotionally, that's not even in their, I don't know, roster, whatever you want to call it.
No, because it's sad. I mean, I think that society and a lot of different cultures, they, from when they're little boys, they're taught, you have to be strong. You can't cry. You can't show emotion. Yeah, it's really bad. I mean, and then,
I agree.
Or if you cry, I hate to say this, people, but no offense to anybody. Tú eres un maricón, no llores, and you're really teaching kids, boys mainly, not to be in touch with their feelings. And then they grow up and they're used to that. And then they don't have that outlet of friends that women have. Women can go and vent with their girlfriends, and men don't have that. Maybe they have the one guy that they can be honest with and vent fully, but as a whole,
or a sister, or
men don't
like
do that, and that's really terrible.
I think that definitely the upbringing definitely has a lot to do with it. Obviously, if you come from a family that shares their feelings or checks in with you, and obviously, but also, going back to like the whole friend thing, Usually when a guy gets married or when a couple gets married, usually the guy's friends, they disappear.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if it's, now you're a couple, so you don't hang out with his friends anymore. The wife probably is like, no, tú no puedes salir. You can't hang out with his friends.
I hate to say this, but I think the most of the time it's the woman infringing on the guy and being like, you can't hang out with your friends.
Yeah.
And if guys, you're letting this happen, then you're an idiot because you got to stand your ground.
You got to
you don't live in each other's
keep
pockets.
Your base.
Yeah. Keep your people.
Keep your people. Because at the end of the day, usually in the relationship, the woman is the one that's going to plan everything and the couples that we're going to hang out with. And we're going to do this with this couple and with, so like, if like 10 years go by and you're like, all our friends are like her friends. And if there's a breakup, friends take sides too.
Yeah.
Okay.
They do.
And most of the time they're going to go with the woman.
Right.
Even if the couple friend of yours, the guy's on your side, forget it.
The guy's never going to say anything, right? Because they're smart. They don't want to start a war with their own partner.
Exactly.
They just stay out of it. They're like, oh, dude, I don't know.
Yeah. So you might have like that one friend, and that, I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't think I've heard of you. Any guys say, you want to talk about it?
No. No, they're like, ¿qué te pasa?
Yeah. And you want a beer? Let's have a beer.
¿Qué te pasa?
They talk about everything
No
else.
cocinaste. Yeah. Okay, bueno. Okay. Yeah. And then they just walk away. They don't want to hear it.
But like a guy with a guy friend, no guy friend is going to go to that guy. You want to talk about it, buddy? Yeah. Hey, you okay?
No, they do say, hey, are you all right? Are you all right? Come on. Shake it off. Come on, you could do it.
I'll buy you a beer. Let's go have a beer.
Yeah, and let's go have a beer. And that's it.
And then they, look at that chick over there. You're going like, it's like all over again. This vicious cycle all over again. It's like, you never let it out of your system. You never talk it out. You never get over it. But you just jump into the next one and the next one and the next one. Es lo mismo. It's like, that's true. That's the problem. So, man, you have to let it out. Let it go. Going back to like what women, like when a relationship ends, is like their whole future plan. They probably are already planning their wedding in their mind. And this relationship ends. It's kind of like what for guys, when a marriage ends, according to this guy who's a radio host and he's like a psychologist, Josh Klapow, he says that there's definitely a lack of like emotional development, mostly like in men, based, from the way they were raised, that not, show emotion or whatever, or not talk it through, or, you're a guy, you're a macho or whatever, like, deal with it, you can't cry, that sort of thing. That they tend to like see a relationship as an accomplishment. They don't really connect. I mean, this is not every guy, obviously, but they don't really connect on like a deep level with the person. They're not really like vulnerable with the person. So whenever something like a breakup or a divorce happens, it usually hurts them. It's like their ego, because it's an accomplishment. It's like a loss.
Yeah, because most men are competitive and they don't want to fail. It's a failure for them.
Yeah. So,
I've heard that from some men that have gone through divorce.
It's like a failure versus losing a person, because they see it as an accomplishment. Okay, like I'm married for 10 years and I have kids and whatever, blah, blah, blah. We have a house and these are like things that they have built up, but it's not like a meaningful partnership. A lot of the time,
well, I mean, it depends.
It
depends on the status of your relationship at the time of the breakup or the divorce. But for the most part, I've had men tell me that and some stay in those failed relationships, right? That they have no connection with because they don't want to look like failures with going through a breakup or a divorce, or they don't want to be the bad guy and they don't want to, put that out there first. So they'll do things to be indifferent or disconnect, from the girlfriend or the spouse because they don't want to be in the relationship, and they'll do things that will lead them to break up with, this person.
No, and it's usually like the man who like leaves the house, like if they're like separated, okay, the man leaves the house. So it's like, how is that going to look?
It's all about image. I think it also depends on
a lot of
the type of job, career that you have, and how much of it you're willing to take, in essence, to preserve that image, right, that you have in this society. But yeah, a lot of them will separate or break up, but they live in the same house because they don't want people to think that, you know, they're a failure or they're married. Why, you know, did you break up? Why did you get a divorce? What happened? What did you do? You know, you hear that a lot. What did you do? I think
men and women tend to think differently too. Like, I think if there's something going on in the marriage and you both know, or you know that this is over, you know, I think women are like, this is over. I'll think about the repercussions later. You need to get out because I'll deal with it. Men is like, shit, this is over, but, and then they're like, start like, you know, I'm going to have to pay child support and alimony, and where am I going to live, and who's going to cook for me, and how am I going to do the laundry, and blah, 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 and when am I going to see the kids? Do I need to pick them up? Do I need to, like, all this stuff goes in their head. Y la mujer es diferente. La mujer is like, I'll figure it out, but you need to get out.
Because, I mean, no offense to anybody, but the majority of the stuff is done by the woman. The woman is the one carrying the heavy load most of the time. And the man's out working. Right? So the woman, of course, is going to be like, you know what, buddy? Like, I'm done. That's
I've been doing it by myself all these years.
You're here, but I'm by myself. So, you know, it's peace out, homie. Now I don't have to clean your underwear. I don't have to hear you snoring. And I don't have to cook for you.
For her, it's like one less person that I have to do something for. So it's like you're actually lessening the load.
So it'll hurt. And I'm sure it hurt to get to even to that point. But I don't know. Like, sometimes I feel men are oblivious. Or do they choose to be oblivious? Because how do they do that? I want to switch like that. Like, I want to put the switch up and be like, la la la, walking around in like la la zone.
What do you mean?
That you have to know. Both sides have to know when something's not right in the relationship, right? So, I mean, some women are very expressive. And you know, they'll tell you, hey,
most women,
like, what's going on
most
here?
Women have been telling the guys forever, and the guy just either chooses
and then
to,
he has the switch, right, where he's like, la 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 la, and you know, he's like, what do you mean? And, you know, you'll talk about it for a few minutes, whatever, and they keep going like nothing. And then they go to sleep at night, like nothing's happening. Like, they just snore away. In like 2 minutes, they're asleep. So,
well, they're like mentally, you know, they checked out.
Yeah. You know, so that's what I mean. Like, and then after a while,
well, you don't want to be like that either. Like, you know.
No, I want that switch sometimes, man. I'm sick and tired of freaking always like thinking and doing and whatever. I was like, oye, tú, préstame el switch ese. Déjame ponerme ahí contigo a roncar. And then I'm like, you know, after a while, I'm like, man, you know, you don't want to be, people know. And then, you know, when the woman comes to you and says, hey, you know, that's it. Peace out, homie. You know, move out. The guy is in shock.
Yeah.
How's that possible?
Chances are this woman has been telling him for years.
Yeah.
But they just choose to like, oh, whatever, you know, she's just time of the month or whatever or blah, 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 you know, and it's, yeah, that's what happens.
But then that goes then into the whole, the woman is so far advanced in the healing process by that time, right? And the guy is like a deer in the headlights.
Yeah.
And so now he's like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
And so the guy is like on first base while the woman is like running to freedom, running home already.
The woman has already seen an attorney. She's already seen, like, you know, discussed everything, what's going to happen. I'm thinking of doing this because I've heard that from a lot of people. Like, they, you know.
I've heard a lot of really
and attorneys have told the woman, can you hold out for like 3 more years?
Yeah, to get
or 4 more years or whatever, to get whatever it is that you're entitled to.
Yeah, what do they say that there's like a like the max amount of alimony that you can get? That's terrible.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Chances are that the woman has already like planned her whole escape route.
Her release.
But when she tells you, this is what's happening, buddy. Like, you know, check your bank account because she's already like planned her whole life without you in it. But I heard, because usually the woman is the one that ends it. Because again, we know how to do most of the stuff anyway, because we've already been doing it for, you know, all this time. I heard somebody told me the other day, like the number one, the relationships that are lasting less and less these days are homosexual women lesbian relationships, because when you have two women in a relationship, the woman is usually the one who ends it, because we got,
true.
I guess, more balls. Like, we know what we want. Is like, forget it. I don't need to deal with this shit. So when you have two women in a relationship, it's like,
right.
I
wonder too. I mean, I think now it's a different time, right? So way back when our mothers were married, they tolerated terrible things and they stayed married.
Yeah, for many reasons.
For many reasons, because they didn't have the advancement on many levels that we have now.
Career, financially.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can talk to death to your husband, but, you're going to stay, especially when you have kids.
Yeah.
Now I think it's easier for people to detach and divorce or separate or break up, even if you're not, or you're just living together, you have kids and you decide to, go your separate ways. But it's a different mindset now than
we put up with less, for sure. It's
like we
don't
and
need
then
to put
sometimes
up with...
I think the flip side of that is really bad, because since we put up with less, are we really putting in that much effort? Or the effort that we should to try to preserve the relationship? By all means, I'm not implying that if somebody's abusing you or cheating on you or
if you're not
a drug addict or an alcoholic, that you're staying in these really bad situations. But I think that a lot of people take the easy way out.
I think a lot of people get married with, if it doesn't work out, I'll just get a divorce.
Right.
And that's
or
not,
like, let's say you're like trying to pick like any little thing that the guy, like you're praying, oh please God, let him do this one effed up thing so that I can like go off on him and break up with him, because like, all of a sudden, like you're talking, or the guy hasn't done anything, but you're like go off the deep end because you purposely want to break up with the guy, but you don't know how to do it. So you're like, did you bring me, the soda that I wanted? And the guy's like, oh my God, I forgot the soda. Oh my God, you forgot the soda.
You never listen.
That's it. I don't want to be with you anymore. This is over. It's like, what are we doing? I think some people are cowards and they just don't want to communicate or really, confront the situation. Just say it.
A lot of men do that too. Like even like when men are like, let's say cheating, it's like they want to get caught. Because they don't have the balls to be like, I met somebody else.
I don't know that they want to get caught.
Well,
because I wouldn't want to get caught.
But I think
I think they do things on purpose, and it's not only men, women too.
True,
I think they do it on purpose so that you could get to the break point, so that you're the one that breaks up.
Exactly.
That's the smart way to do it. Like, you don't want to get caught. People don't get caught.
No, it's not about I want to get caught, but it's about I guess. It's like you rather, okay, whatever. Yeah, I did it. Yeah, it's over. Okay, yeah, it's over. Like.
Yeah, I think in some marriages I've heard that too, where people, they're just so over it that they don't care if they get caught. That I've heard too.
Yeah. So anyway, but they say also for men, and I don't know if this is like a cop out, but they say for men, they are, how they say men are from, what is it? Men are from Mars.
Women are from Venus.
Mm-hmm. Well, apparently, like, not only like the stars or whatever, but like biology has something to do with it. Supposedly when a man enters a relationship, his testosterone level drops, which makes him more susceptible to bonding with the...
What? Why does his testosterone level drop?
Oxytocin, which is the hormone level that makes you feel lovey-dovey. Okay? So a man meets a woman they love.
Testosterone needs to drop for your oxytocin to go up, probably, so that you can be...
Well, apparently when you feel that something special for that other person, I guess automatically your testosterone level drops, your oxytocin kicks in, which is your lovey-dovey.
Which means you have less balls.
Chemically, that's what happens. So then, but once he decides to end the relationship for whatever reason, testosterone levels go up again, and then it's like he doesn't feel anything. Like,
I'm surprised they didn't blame the testosterone drop on the estrogen he's around.
So when he's done, because chemically, like, he's disconnected. He's done.
So the testosterone is the disconnect.
Once it picks up
the increase in testosterone.
Once it picks up again, apparently.
Oh my goodness. Guys, you need to level off your testosterone. We got to stabilize that.
But if you're ever in doubt who's getting over quicker, go to social media.
Oh my God. Social media
Go
and
to their
breakups
social media.
is a disaster.
Oh my God. It's like, pass the popcorn.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I tend to think like if there's a couple, okay, that you know, and you know that they break up, you check each other's, you check those people's pages. Whoever changes the relationship status quicker, whoever's like, I'm out and I'm happy. It depends who's the breaker upper, let's say.
Yeah.
But typically the person who changes everything quicker, that's the person who's hurting the most. I tend to think that. It's like, and you want to show the world, I'm fine, I'm over it.
Yeah, and isn't it messed
you're
up?
Like, ah!
Isn't it messed up when you do that? I mean, I'm not the fast changer upper or whatever you want to call it. When you do finally change your status or remove that person from your profile or whatever, what the hell's wrong with people? They're like, what happened? Oh, you're not with so-and-so anymore? But it's like open to the whole world. So everybody sees that you're being asked all these questions. It's like, really? And people answer.
Oh my God.
Have you seen those?
No.
Oh, I've seen a lot of those.
But I would like delete those comments. Like,
¿Qué pasó? Oh, siéntate ahí, dame un segundo que te voy a dar toda la explicación en Facebook.
No.
So everybody can read it.
No, I wouldn't even ask. I would just like DM that person. Like, are you okay? Like,
a lot of people ask. I've seen that a lot.
Oh my God, no. But I tend to think that just like, you say like, but he doesn't post any pictures with his girlfriend or vice versa. That means that, they're not in love. That's not necessarily true. Just because you're not posting things all over.
I'm not a my whole life poster person.
No, yeah.
I think I've gotten over that whole in a relationship status, changing and all that. And forcing people, you have to put my picture with you on your profile and all that stuff like that. I don't care anymore.
I mean, I think if you've been dating for like a year and his relationship status is still single,
well, then it's like, okay, let's put the brakes on for a second. Because if I'm seeing all these guarigandillas commenting on your social media and you're putting little hearts and kissy faces, hello. Yeah, no, that's not happening.
Oh, then you see these people with like the cryptic codes, cryptic like postings. Like, oh my God.
Like grasshopper 909er.
They're all about you. They're all about you. Like, I was surprised with Khloe Kardashian. She kept posting, not cryptic. Like, she was like very, like, she was hurt.
Yeah, and she was not cryptic.
She was not putting anything like, I'm over you. It was all about, I'm hurt. You did this to me. You hurt me. You like, constantly. I was like, oh my God, la pobre, pobrecita.
Well, I was following this girl that she's very active. She's one of these exercise people. And I noticed one day, just out of nowhere, I was like, hey, what happened to her boyfriend? Because she would post some pictures of her and her boyfriend doing certain things. And
oh yeah, you immediately know when
and I didn't see the boyfriend, right? But I found it so odd that I picked up on that like right away, which I have no reason to, right? So then it's like something's going on. So I start scrolling, like chismeando through the whole thing, and I'm like, oh my God, she has no more pictures of her boyfriend. Then I go on his page because he's a well-known motivational speaker. And I start looking and no pictures of her either. I was like, oh my goodness, something happened here. And then later on, she's like on full blast on her Instagram about the guy and what he had done.
Oh my God.
Yes, it was not fun.
I wouldn't do that. People, stay away from social media when you're hurting. Don't post anything. That's so cliche. That's so like, if not for anything,
go to therapy.
No le dejes el gusto. No le dejes el gusto a esa persona. Like, don't go that route. That's not cool. But anyway, it is what it is. This is the time that we're living in, the social media. Everybody posts everything on social media. But they say typically it does take men longer to get over a breakup than women. Research shows that it can take some men years or even decades if they truly love that person. They just don't show their grief to others or even to themselves.
That's what I was talking about before, that you can have this great love that you really never get over. I mean, you keep going because what option do you have? But I think it happens to both sexes, men and women. You always have like this one regret, or like even like our parents, let's say, if they get a divorce or somebody in that generation, they kind of like, you always see them like, ay, tu esposo, or, and then they don't remarry the women. A lot of the women don't remarry.
Yeah.
And then it's always that kind of like that, oh, why did this have to happen? And you always have that in the back of your mind. I'm not saying all of us, but I'm saying certain generations, I think too, depending on your age, that happens.
Yeah, I think after a certain point, if you're like in your 60s, it's like, ¿para qué me voy a divorciar? It's like, es más compañía than anything else at that point.
Oh my God.
Although I know some couples that are like in their 70s and they se separan. Yeah. That's like, that happens too.
That's terrible.
But imagine like that these men that it takes decades for them to get over somebody. By that point, they're probably already like in their second or third marriage. Coño, it's like, I wouldn't want to be with somebody that's like constantly thinking about somebody else, or like not totally over somebody. Like, knowing myself, I couldn't be with somebody if I'm not over somebody else. Eso de un clavo saca otro clavo, that I can't do that.
A lot of Cubans.
But a lot of men do that.
And a lot of Cubans.
Yeah.
When I first heard that thing, I was like, what?
Yeah.
And then people would tell me that all the time. Oh, you just broke up with somebody. Ay, búscate otro. And I was like, what?
It's like, I'm not even like,
dude,
what?
I have no energy to put makeup on and fix my hair and go out and talk to some stupid guy. Like, why do I want to find somebody right away?
Like, I'm going to be talking about him and thinking about him all the time.
No, I don't recommend that for either men or women.
No. Because
I told you I went out on a date with, this is really crazy.
Heal thyself.
Yes. I went out on a date last year, was it? With some guy the guy that he kept talking about his ex-wife.
Oh my God.
He had divorced like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Dude, you really need therapy. I told him just like that. I was like, you really need to get over that. And maybe you should go to therapy. Like, you're crazy right now.
Yeah. If he's constantly dropping little things here and there and talking about the other
about
person.
A house, how he had to give up his house.
Yeah.
And, ay, Dios mío, chico.
No. At some point, you gotta move on. Like mentally, emotionally, financially, everything.
It's a house, for God's sakes. You can buy another one.
No, you gotta move on. Anyway, this does it for us today on who gets over breakups quicker.
I guess we didn't come to a conclusion.
No, we did not.
We both
the jury's still
the same.
out.
We heard the same.
We heard the same. No two people are the same. No two relationships are the same. It just depends, I guess. But the one thing that does take over
oh my God, I think I know.
What?
Retail therapy. At least that works for me.
What I was going to say
is vacation.
That too. A big bank account. That number 3.
Yes.
But the one that takes care of everything and all the heartbreak and everything is
chocolate.
Time.
I like chocolate better.
Give yourself time. That's the only thing that will cure everything.
Now saying that, I realize that every time I go through a breakup, I plan a vacation. And I don't do it on purpose. It just works out that way. And it's amazing. I love it.
I do retail therapy.
And retail
I'm
therapy
like Ariana
works.
Grande. I like it.
Yes.
I see it.
I buy it.
I want it. I buy it.
Retail therapy, I highly recommend.
Yes.
And chocolate
and food and ice cream and hear sad songs and
wine.
Cry your heart out.
And man, you could do this too. I have faith in you. I believe.
Do the social media, drive-bys, talk to your friends, get it out of your system, whatever works for you. But get it out of your system. You must. Otherwise, you're going to keep dragging that shit over and over and over. And nobody wants that.
Yes. Heal thyself.
Heal thyself. Hasta la bye-bye. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Ta-ta.
Hey guys, listen to us on iTunes/Apple. Really, there's no slash. It's just Apple or La Manzana.
La Manzana. We love all fruit people. We're from Florida, but we love apples too.
We love our apples.